Hi everyone, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're trying to be a subscriber. Today's video is going to be my spring TBR, all the books that I would love to get to in the spring months, or the remainder of the spring months, because I kind of go by the 3-month season, does that make sense? March, April, May, that's spring for me. We're very much towards the end of March. I still haven't got to any of these books. This is probably over ambitious. I've got 10 books here, and considering I've only read 11 books this year, 10 is probably quite a lot, especially as I am a little bit of a mood reader. If I'm not feeling one of these, then I will just pick up some random book from my shelf. The general idea is, in an ideal world, in the springtime, these are the books that I would love to read. They're all obviously high up my TBR in general, in terms of like my book collection. There's one way in which they are slightly spring related, just feel right to me to read in the spring. I'm so excited to get to all of these titles. So first up we have A Leopard Skin Hat by Anne Serre, or Serre. It could be Serre because it's French. Basically, this is a book that was longlisted for the International Booker because it's translated from the French, like I just said. And I've owned this book since October. I bought it in New York because this book is actually out of print in the UK, although I feel like not anymore because of the Booker. Yeah, so this was a book I wanted to get to, but it was not really super duper high up my TBR. But when I saw its nomination for the International Booker, I was like, yep, I'm gonna read in that soon, because I always read Booker Prize winners and also Booker Prize nominees after the ceremony, and I often find them in the charity shop because people would have read the books. Either it will be like the winner, and you know, lots of people would have bought the winner, they'll be reading the nominee, but it's really cool to have a taste of the book before the prize is announced, because you never know, this could be the prize winner. So I'm excited to give A Leopard Skin Hat a go. I'm not entirely sure what this is about, but I think the general premise is that we're following this man. It's about his intense friendship between him and his close childhood friend Fanny, who suffers from profound psychological disorders. A series of short scenes paint the portrait of a strong-willed and tormented young woman battling many demons, and of the narrator's loving and anguished attachment to her. You've got this really complex dynamic between these characters. I just think it could be really, really beautifully written, and I'm excited to see what potentially could be the thing that got it nominated for the Booker. A Creative Act by Rick Rubin. This is a non-fiction book by the world famous music producer. As the title would suggest, it is all about creativity. I'm so excited to get to this book. I've had it on my TBR for many, many years, since I first heard that you could even pre-order it, since I first heard this was going to be a thing. And then I got given it for Christmas, I think it was, like a couple of years ago. So I've had this one sitting on my shelves for a while, and I'm yet to read it. Various things are happening in my life at the moment where I feel like I need to like prioritize creativity in a certain way. I've been finding recently that the more projects I've been getting for YouTube and for various other aspects of my life, or the kind of direction I want to steer my content, I felt the demand to produce content, but not necessarily as much creativity as I had in the past, when I was doing it more out of kind of free will and less out of something I had to do. Like, I'm always choosing to do YouTube. It's always up to me to post and bother to come up with ideas and things like that, but there's a bit more of a demand for it now, and creativity on demand can be a bit of a tricky thing. So I'm hoping this book might re-inspire me, not just re-inspire me, but kind of re-motivate me, because so much of creativity is actually discipline and like opening yourself up to being approachable to ideas and for them to be more accessible to you. So I'm hoping that is what I find within these pages. I'll let you know how I get on with it, because I know that this is a pretty divisive book. People have kind of polarizing opinions on it, so I'll let you know what I think. Completely different vibe, we have Reckless by Elsie Silver. This is a little bit rogue, I will admit, because I am yet to read book 3 in the Chestnut Spring series, and this is book 4. My mum just sent me a text saying that she was missing me, but she also said, hope your filming is going well. That's funny because I'm filming right now. She also said she's sorry about the lighting. She's right, because it's grey and cloudy. It's very, very overcast today, and it's not ideal filming weather, but whatever. Better than the sun coming in and out, I guess. This is a bit overambitious of me, but I really want to tick off the Chestnut Spring series, because she has also written a prequel series to this, and she's written a sequel series, but they're kind of like spin-offs, so you can read them out of order. But the thing is, I just want to finish the Chestnut Springs before I get into either the other 2 series, so I need to put pressure on myself to do so, because I own 3 books of hers from other series that I can't get to until I finish Chestnut Springs. I hope this makes any sense, but yeah. The Chestnut Springs series follows this family, mostly the brothers and their storylines, their romances. Reckless is meant to be a fan favourite because people love Theo. I'm really intrigued to see how I find this, because the other fan favourite was Cade from book 2. So far, I read 1 and 2, and 1 was definitely my favourite, and Rhett was also my favourite. He was the MMC from book 1. The fact that I wasn't obsessed with book 2's MMC. I'm interested to see how I find book 4. But yeah, we met Winter, the FMC, in book 1, and we got kind of a bad impression from her. I feel like she's gonna be a bit of a nester. Real Estate by Deborah Levy. It's the 3rd book in her living autobiography trilogy. I've read books 1 and 2 over the past couple of years, and I've really adored both of them. They were both 4-star reads, so I'm really excited to round off the trilogy with book 3. Could this be higher than a 4-star? I'm not sure. I feel like Deborah Levy in general is, for me, a 4-star author. I've read 3 of her books. They've all been 4 stars. So let's see what rating this one could have. I feel like her books could go lower than a 4. The idea of them going higher than a 4 is just not something I can imagine happening, but you know, I'm going to go into this with an open mind. I'm so excited to explore more of her writing. I just love everything she discusses and also the way that she does. She's got a very kind of sparse, straight to the point writing style, but it also manages to create these really evocative images within your mind at the same time. Agua Viva by Clarissa Spector. Now this is a bit of a scary one for me to put on here because this time last year I read my first Spector, my only Spector, which was Near to the Wild Heart, and I gave that 2 stars. I think it was 2 stars, but either way, it was a low rating. Definitely intrigued to try more of Spector. I've heard that this one is generally one that people adore, so I feel like I could have just started with the wrong one from her. This one's in my favourite bit more because it is much shorter. You A, have to be in the mood for it, and B, have to get along with her specific style of writing. And I feel like because I didn't really, but that was a bit longer, it meant that I was just dragging my feet through it and I was wishing it was over. Clarissa Spector's writing is difficult to explain, but it's very, very introspective. It's very internal. She writes things in very kind of mystical ways, but she is, I guess, getting to the truth of life and discussing things that many other authors don't even kind of go near. It is almost like poetry. That was me saying that at least the sun was not going in and out, and what is it doing right now? But going in and out. Speaking of poetry, I have The Flame by Leonard Cohen. For some reason, to me, the transitional months are perfect for poetry, and this is the one that I've selected. This is actually on my 2025 TBR as well. That's partially the reason why it's on this list. And also I just wanted to read more of Leonard Cohen's poetry for the longest time. I read my first one from him in like 2022, I think. It's about time that I got to more of his work, and I'm excited to kind of tackle this collection. It's quite big. I'll just read one here and there, I think. A few days ago, there was a very, very exciting book release. I'm sure many of you are aware of it because I've seen every single person I know reading this book and rating it very highly. And this is Sunrise and the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is a Hunger Games prequel book. We've already had one of them, but this one is the one that we've all been waiting for. This one I have such high hopes for. The Hunger Games trilogy was such a cornerstone of my youth. I adored every single book in that. That was like 5 stars all around. Then I reread the first book 10 years later and it still got 5 stars, like 6 stars. Such a solid, good YA dystopian series. It changed lives. Then I read The Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes. 3 stars. It was fine, but I don't know, I've got a reading vlog, I go into my feelings there. It's all spoiler free. It was just not everything I kind of hoped it would be. But also, like, what was I gonna do with a story about snow? But this is Haymitch's book. Haymitch has always been my favourite character in the series aside from Peter. Peter was the love of my life. He was my first book boyfriend and I will never recover. Haymitch is just everything you could want in a side character, and I think he was perfectly cast in the films as well. I'm so excited to see his story because we got little hints of it in Catching Fire, I think it was, but we never knew the full story of his games. But this is it. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm gonna probably vlog this or read it while I'm filming a vlog because I just want to share my thoughts because I feel like this is going to be a big moment for me. I'm going to this with medium expectations. I'm trying to rein myself back because I truly want to adore this, but I'm so scared that it's going to be another Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but we'll see. I was trying to make this list 10 books, so I was scouring my shelves for a book that reminded me of spring or I felt like it could have spring vibes, and I went with this one, which is Basic Black with Pearls by Helen Weinsweg. This is a book that I have had on my TBR for a little while now, but actually the TBR jar picked it out for me a few months ago. I didn't get to it in the month. This is still sitting on my TBR shelves. Now is the time to pick it up. So we're following this Toronto housewife and her affair with this man in Tangier, in Hong Kong and in Rome, arranged by an intricate code based on some notes slipped into issues of National Geographic. This sounds super duper intriguing, and I also love NYRBs, and this is one of those. I've seen good reviews from this one on Bookstagram, so I'm excited to see how I personally find it. This list is technically 10 books, but to me it feels like 9 because these books are to be read together, if that gives you any sort of hint. We have Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas, Throne of Glass series, the penultimate books. Throne of Glass series is so well loved and I've been slowly making my way through it over the past year, but I haven't read a single book from it within 2025. So Lucy and I are going to be buddy reading these. Lucy, if you're watching this, text me and tell me to start the tandem with you. I've been in the middle of a bunch of other books. I've had my excuses, but now is the time for us to get back to the Throne of Glass series. This is the tandem. You read these books in tandem, so you read a few chapters from Empire of Storms and then a few chapters from Tower of Dawn, and you basically bounce back and forth because these 2 books take place across the same timeline. That is because Throne of Glass has a really big cast of characters. By this point in the story, they have split off in different directions to do different tasks. So we're following them at the same time by reading both books together, but they're in completely different areas of the continent of the world. I love the Throne of Glass series. I've been having the best time with it. I had the best time budding reading it with Lucy as well. I feel like on average I'm getting a probably 4.5 star rating out of the series, so I'm really excited that potentially these ones could be super highly rated as well. My only 5 stars so far has been Air of Fire, the third book, but we shall see. As the stakes rise, perhaps I'll be even more connected to these characters. And then the final book that I have on this TBR is one I'm really, really excited to read. It's a book that I feel like has more summer vibes than spring ones, but there's a reason why I want to read it now. So this is Outline by Rachel Cusk. I'm going to Crete in April. I am beyond excited for it. I will of course be vlogging the entire experience, and I wanted to bring a book with me, A, to include in the vlog, but also B, just because I'm going on holiday and I will be sitting down by the sea wanting to read, obviously. And very excitingly, Outline is set in Greece. It is set in Athens, I believe. This book is also on my 10 books to read in 2025. And when I filmed that video, I had no idea that I was going to be going to Crete. I had the general idea that I'd want to go on holiday somewhere, but I thought it might be Italy in the summertime or something like that. Things worked out so well. I'm going to be reading this book on a Greek island, living my best life, eating amazing food, and hopefully loving my first cask. So yes, this is my first cask. Her writing style is meant to be quite unique, so I'm really, really keen that I connect to it, especially as this is a trilogy. I already know the third book in the trilogy. A novel in 10 conversations, spare and lucid, it follows a novelist teaching a course in creative writing over an oppressively hot summer in Athens. She leads her students in storytelling exercises. She meets other writers for dinner. She goes swimming in the Ionian Sea with her seatmate from the plane. And through these disclosures, a portrait of the narrator is drawn by contrast, a portrait of a woman learning to face great loss. Outline is the first book in a short and yet epic cycle, a masterful trilogy which will be remembered as one of the most significant achievements of our times. Beyond excited. This cover is also so beautiful. I can't wait for the vlog. I'm already like in the planning, you know, I'm thinking of what shots I want to get and stuff like that. I have high aspirations for myself in terms of documenting the experience for you. So subscribe if you're not already to stick around and see that. So there you have it. Those are the 10 books that I would love to read over the next couple of months, all to do with spring in various ways, whether I've just plucked that out of thin air or whether it is something that would be associated with spring more generally. These are the 10 books. Look at them all in their glory. I'm so excited. This looks like a huge stack, but I think it's just because Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn are quite thick. The rest of them are not too bad. So maybe this is more manageable than I would have once thought. We shall see. It's also good filming this video now because I plan to film my TBR jar picks my reads for the month of April in a couple of days, and I can try and prioritize some of these books. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know that you did. Subscribe if you'd like to stick around and see more videos from me, and I'll see you so soon in a couple of days for another video.